My presentation is completely aligned with what we have been seeing in all these previous presentations, especially with yours, Ivan, because I use many of the charts and pictures from Wind Europe. So I'm going to be able to go through the first part of my presentation very quickly and go to the point which I really want to address and share with all of you, because I guess we all are looking to another part. How it goes for...
Just the green button.
Oh, nice. I switch it off. Okay.
This is the
And what is the pointer?
black. This is the
pointer. Okay.
This is black.
Give it to me. Okay. Et voilà. We start with this one. So I don't know. I don't need to explain all that because Ivan did it perfectly for me. So that's the scenario that the alarms to internationally. These are the scenarios in Europe for the 20, 25 years, and the blades and the amount and the distribution. You already explained it very nicely. And also how it's going to be growing the amounts of blades and tones and from here to the 2030. So I can skip this also. The legislation, I wanted to mention that the actual current legislation is a little bit soft. And the composite is considered like plastic. There's already a code. It's the 170203 that is referring to the plastics. And there's where it goes the blade as a composite material. However, we saw that there's some countries already in Europe that they are stating that the landfill is going to be prohibited. So good, and I guess the rest of Europe, we're going to follow this trend, and finally, there will be no way of solving the problem, as you suggested, that bring the blade to another country. No, I hope it's going to be for all Europe. And at the end, landfill or incineration will be not allowed. Okay. We also saw this pyramid. To me, it's quite important, because we mentioned things that I don't agree too much, and it's like we need to go higher in this level. Higher, that means that we don't want disposal. The recovery, we try to avoid. Recycling, it's okay, we'll see what we can do. Repurpose is pretty good. Reuse is more difficult, because when I have a blade, and they told me, okay, get a part, a component of the blade, and use it on the next blade. I cannot think about taking the root joint from one blade and putting it into another blade. This is not possible. So in the reuse, we may think, we can allow ourselves to think that maybe all blades can go to another wind farm. Suspicious, but maybe we can think about that. And prevention, beautiful. I mean, we're going to have new resins, thermoplastic resins, that they're going to allow to have those completely recyclable blades. But someone mentioned, this is not going to be tomorrow, no? Probably by what, 2025 or 2030, I don't know. So what happened with all the blades that we have been manufacturing since 1970s, and the ones that we are going to keep manufacturing since today until all this technology of thermoplastic or whatever solution is available in all the companies. So prevention is pretty good, but it's a little bit of a future. We have a problem, current problem, that we need to solve. Okay, we also saw that, and to me this is very good to understand that we have different options of recycling. Each one has advantages and disadvantages. And most of the current projects, they are focused in one of these technologies, or some of them, and they try to investigate how much can I process with this technique, and what is the material that I obtain. After doing all this process, what kind of materials do I obtain? Okay? So I think it's very important that we try to develop as much as we can all these processes. And someone will say, well, what do you mean all? Why we don't focus in one? Because we're going to see that the problem of the blades is going to be changing. And it's going to be changing because let's recycle the blades. Okay, the blades, they are not all the same. No, we're going to be obtaining the carbon. Carbon start to be on the blades, I think around 2005. So I told you that we're going to be manufacturing blades since the 70s. In the 70s, we were manufacturing blades with polyester. Then we changed to epoxy. The glass fiber, I don't know if it was glass fiber with this quality or the other quality. So let's be careful when we say, okay, let's recycle the blades. The problem is going to be changing, and maybe the process of recycling has to be or need to be adapted as the blades that get old, they change in their composition and in their format, okay? Because they are all not the same. So it's very good to see, or to also look at this graph where they told you, okay, for this process, we estimate this cost and the value that you can obtain. The blue is the value if you are aiming for carbon, glass fiber carbon, and the yellow is for the glass fiber. So you are like, okay, what about what I just told you? The blades, they are not all carbon, they are not all glass. We have combinations, and on top of that, those combinations, they're gonna be changing through the years that they were manufactured. So, okay, that is the reason that I'm saying, please, let's not put any of this process aside and forget about it, because maybe at a certain point, this is gonna be the solution to obtaining one material that then can be recycled. So for the time being, and for the projects that I'm seeing around me, around CENER, on the technology, I think it's good that most of these European or national projects, they try to tackle the technology in each of these processes. Okay. Business case. We also mentioned about the business case in this last presentation from LM, and I was so happy to hear that. I never heard in any of the projects, let's think about the business case. Okay, and I wonder why. Is it because we don't have all the data that I need to create a business case? Or is it because I don't want to address a problem that I don't know how to solve? But if there's no business case, there will no be solution. And I go now into detail about what I have here. Okay, we go, and finally, my wind farm reached end of life. We decommission, and we take the blades. Hold on. We take the blades. Excuse me. How we are going to take the blades? Because what we saw in the presentation from Fraunhofer, they were cutting and putting apart very nicely the entire blade. What did they do? They took the blade, the whole blade, the 20 meters or the 30 meters or the 40 meters blade, they put it in a truck and they transported, I don't know how many hundreds of kilometers. This is very costly. I mean, if you think that you're going to take all the blades as entire and go to the factory, I don't know where, and there start to cut it nicely as we were seeing in the Fraunhofer presentation, okay, we'll see. We'll see if this is affordable. So then I decide, because I heard that this can be also a business, so I decide to build the business for recycling. And I have my facility with my systems and all what I need for recycling, okay? And after that, I work and I obtain my materials or parts of the blade for recycling or for repurposing. And then, okay, I obtain that, but I have to sell it. I'm not gonna be the company that do all these other products. I'm gonna need to sell that. To what price? Well, at what price I can sell something that has been used, has been going through a very strange recycling processes, and giving me a material, a second-use material with very poor properties? My estimation is that your price is going to be very, very low. So when I go to a very simple chart here, or table, is that I want to just put it in a very conceptual, okay, dismantling, cost of operation. I assuming that the crane is going to be the same that goes for the tower or for the nacelle. So it's not any special crane for the blade. Let me think that, okay? So I'm going to say that the cost of operation is standard. Transport, I just mentioned. How are we going to be transporting the blades? The whole blade? Or we're going to be cutting there and, okay, let's put, is going to be cost of operation high. Not super high, because super high is going to be transporting the 60 meters blade around Europe until you reach your factory, your recycling factory. Let me say cutting. I don't know we're going to be cutting infill inside or in the factory. Okay, let's say that this is standard. And then the repurpose or recycling. The cost of operation of my new recycling plant is a standard, is the people working there. But when I go to investment, I'm deciding that I'm not investing on the dismantling because there's already existing equipment, neither on the transport because there's already existing trucks. Cutting, I'm going to need some of those very nice systems that Fraunhofer showed. So I'm going to have to invest medium. What about my whole new facility for recycling? This is a high investment. And when I go to the payback, is what I told you. How I'm going to do the business case when I'm, after all that, what I'm selling is a very low price. Well, this is a thought for you all to think about it, if you want. So what do I see in the business case? That I'm having a very, I have my materials. I think they are quite poor materials. Or I have my parts that I'm going to sell in a low price. And this is a smart company. It's not a recycling company. This is another company. And why it has to be another company? Because here, if I want to do this, I need experts, engineers in sound and I don't know what else. Or here, I need architects or infrastructures engineers. So you cannot put all together in one company, recycling company. The recycling company is going to be selling that to add those other companies that they will add the value for. So let's be careful to understand where is the business case for who is a profitable business case and for who is not profitable. Okay. Going back, so in my business case that I showed before, how much does it cost to recycle a blade? This is one of the questions that all the projects should address. One of the objectives in all the projects will be, okay, we have to determine how much does it cost to recycle a blade. Obviously, it's going to depend if I finally do repurpose and I get this nice part of the blade to create a bridge, or if I do incinerate to get the fibers, or I do grinding to put in the cement. Okay, of course, it's going to be different, the business case. But we also have to think if the business case is not positive, someone has to pay. And we have to start to think, if you want to recycle your blade, you're going to have to pay. It's not for free, like most of the things in life. Okay, I don't know if I have the one for transport. They include, no, it was not included in this version. Okay, good enough, because I think I made the point that we need to think about the business case in its all circularity and understand if it is not positive. Nevertheless, the direction of Europe is to recycle, so someone is going to have to pay, and we have to understand how much is the cost of recycling a blade. Thank you.
Okay, before I go to the question, I have one pleasant announcement to make for Antonio. The transportation cost for the Fraunhofer demolition blades were very low because we cut the thing to pieces on the parking lot in front of the blade testing hall. So I think the transportation cost will be, doable.
So we all can do that.
Yeah.
It's an 83-meter blade.
Yeah.
It's representative of what's coming at us.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, Martijn, if I buy my rotor blades from LM, surely I can give them back at the end of the show, right? I mean, okay, everybody in Europe heard him, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's go for questions and remarks. Ivan.
Thanks for the presentation. It's excellent question. Who is going to pay and how much it costs? We absolutely are looking into that also as part of the exercise that we do with SETWind and we do with the working groups in Wind Europe. We need to check the figures, but we normally use an example that for blades that were sent to the co-processing factory in Germany, the total cost for the preparation of the blade, transporting, and the gate fee, because you have to pay the cement factory to receive them, all that totaled between 500 and 700 euros per ton. Then you can make the calculations depending on the blade, how much each blade cost, etc., etc. So it is a cost, but the preliminary findings suggest that it's not that high.
Okay.
I'll leave it there.
No, I mean, beautiful, beautiful, because first of all, you mentioned that for putting into the cement, we are paying. We don't get paid. We pay for putting in it, okay?
Yep.
And second, from all the intents of business cases that I've been seeing, from what we know from the other processes, the picture that I had with different processes, it seems that the grinding and putting into the cement and some other initiative was to put it in the road, in the asphalt, seems to be a positive business case. We are in the low, very low pyramid of circularity. So, okay, we can also burn them, but we are trying to avoid that. We want to go higher in that pyramid of value. So let's try to keep on working in the technology of all these other processes, understand what kind of materials we can obtain and how to use them. There we could then evaluate what is the cost, what is the price, and see if the business is still feasible.
Okay. Okay, because of the time, I always seem to be running out on my sessions, and I wonder why that is. We now continue to the next speaker, but first, thank you again, Antonio.
Thank you, Arno.